Now, the second important intellectual revolution is Darwinian Revolution. And in the Darwinian Revolution, the person that we take note of here is Charles Darwin, who is credited in steering another important scientific revolution, this time around in the mid-19th century. So sino ito si Charles Darwin? Well, Charles Darwin is actually a scientist. Siya ay tinatawag na naturalist. And when he was younger, sumakay siya sa isang barko na ang pangalan ay HMS Beagle. So it would be good for you to remember at makalobas sa LET examination yan. So HMS Beagle, and he sa kanyang pagsakay sa barkong ito, nilibot niya ang buong mundo kasama ng crew, at sa bawat paglapag o bawat pagtigil ng barko, bumababa rin at inoobserbahan niya yung mga halaman, yung mga hayop. And in one of the islands, particularly the Galapagos Island, he was able to observe na sa iba't ibang island na ito ay iisang klase ng ibon, which are the finches, but he noticed that there are several differences in terms of the beak. Merong beak na malaki, merong beak na mahaba, sa isang isla naman ay iba yung hugis ng beak na ito, but he was very sure na galing lamang sa iisang klaseng ibon ito, and these are the finches. So he began to think, ano kaya ang proseso, ano kaya ang puwersa, what is the force that caused these finches, which he thought ay nanggaling sa iisang stock o nanggaling sa iisang klase lamang, and nag-diversify, nag-iba-iba ito sa kanilang paglipat sa iba't ibang bahagi ng isla ng Galapagos. So there are several islands na nakastrewn or nakakalat doon. And he also noticed na pareho ang finches na ito doon sa mainland continent, sa South America. So he began thinking about this. So he produced his treatise on the science of evolution, at ang title nito is The Origin of Species, which was published in 1859. Please remember the title, please remember the date, lumalabas sa LET examination din iyan. So, Origin of Species by Charles Darwin, and he began the revolution that brought humanity to a new era of intellectual discovery. So, ano nangyari dito? Darwinian Revolution benefited from earlier scientific revolution kasi at that time ay nangyari yung tinatawag na Renaissance, which is yung revived belief in the capacity of man, and also dito sa Renaissance na ito ay lalong lumago ang scientific research. So Charles Darwin benefited from all of these things that happened during the 16th and the 17th century. So it was guided by the confidence in human reason's ability to explain phenomena in the universe. So at that time, religion was not the main influencer of the thoughts of men, but rather it was the beginning of science, confidence in human reason, na siyang nag-influence siya or nagtulak o naglilid para mas maunawaan kung ano ang nangyari sa ating kalikasan o nakapalibot natin. So Darwin gathered the evidence pointing to what is known as natural selection. Natural selection ay isang importanteng salita, and you need to also to remember this because this also ito lumalabas sa LET examination. So natural selection is simply an evolutionary process by which organisms, including humans, inherit, develop, and adapt traits that favor survival and reproduction. Ang isang katotohanan na makikita natin sa mundong ito, change is the only thing that is constant. Ibig sabihin yan ay hindi lang ito kanta, kundi ito ay katotohanan sa kapaligiran natin. Kasi any moment of time, things can change in terms of our environment. Maaaring na for some time ang klima ay napakaganda, but in any moment maaaring biglang tumaas ang temperatura, just like what we're experiencing global climate right now. O kaya naman ay dati ang isang lugar ay punong-puno ng iba't ibang mga halaman, punong-puno ng iba't ibang mga hayop because of the being a forest, pero dahil sa isang earthquake, yung katabi na river system na ay bigla na lang lumihis at pumunta doon sa lugar na yan. So all of the plants and all of the plants disappear, the animals, organisms have to transfer to another place. So anytime, pwede magbago ang ating kalikasan at ang ating kapaligiran. And natural selection, isang proseso na ito that would force the organisms to either survive or to die. So ang ibig sabihin niya, ng isang grupo ng organismo ay one species ng isang organismo ay maaring magbago habang tumatagal ang panahon dahil sila ay nag-a-adapt, sila ay umaayon, sila ay nagbabago din para sila ay mag-survive in the continuing changes or in the continual changes that happen in the environment. Kung halimbawa, kung ang mga sa isang lugar ay mayroong mga halaman sa lupa, malapit sa kalupaan at may mga taas na puno. So any kind of, if there is a group of organism there na kumakain ng dahon, pwedeng mabuhay ang mga matatangkad, pwedeng mabuhay ang mga mabababang miyembro ng grupo ng organismo na yon, organism, dahil meron namang halaman sa ilalim, malapit sa lupa, at meron ng mga dahon naman, dala ng mga puno na matataas. Pero sabihin natin na there were some changes in the soil condition, nutrition, that killed off yung mga maliliit na mga halaman. So anong mangyayari? Yung mga maliliit na miyembro ng grupo ng organismo na yun, hindi na kayang kumain dahil hindi nila abot yung mga matataas na mga puno. So what happened? They die off. So sino ang naiwan doon sa grupo ng organismo na sila ang magkakaroon ng mga anak at magpapatuloy ng henerasyon? So maiiwan na lamang ay yung mga matatangkad, mga taller members of the group of organisms. At dahil sila ang naiwan, sila rin ang mag-iiwan ng mga anak. At ano ang karakteristik ng mga anak? Matataas din. So over time, nagbago yung grupo na ito dahil hindi na ang miyembro ay karamihan ng matataas rather than merong kahalo ng mga maliliit. So that is what we meant by natural selection. So it is survival. Ang pinaka-common na motto rito is survival of the fittest, survival ng pinaka umaayon sa present condition na yon. Okay, so it favors survival and reproduction of those organisms that are able to adapt or have adapted traits, and they develop and inherit this. So very important yun. Now, Darwin's theory of evolution was of course met with a lot of resistance kasi it is accused the theory of being short in accounting for the broad, complex evolutionary process. So isa yun sa mga resistance kasi hindi talaga na-explain ni Darwin yung proseso, the mechanism behind bakit nagbabago ang characteristics ng isang species or group of individuals, of the same individuals, habang tumatakbo ang panahon. So hindi niya talaga na-explain. And he at that time, nung nabubuhay si Charles Darwin, na hindi niya nabasa yung treatise o yung sulatin ni Gregor Mendel, who is the father of genetics. And it's later, after several years pa, in the early 19th century, na napatunayan na ang proseso pala ng sinasabi ni Charles Darwin na evolution could be explained by genetics. So unfortunately at that time, hindi alam ito ni Charles Darwin. So he was not really able to give any mechanism, any kind of process that would explain the process of evolution. But not only that, ang isa pang pinagmulan ng resistance would be in the religious sector. Many in the religious sector deemed the theory of evolution as going against the tenets of the Bible or tenets of the religious thinking. Kasi ang paniniwala in the religious arena, everything is created by God, so every group of organisms will be created by God. Pero yung isang mindless force that causes organisms to change from one species to another really goes against the tenets of religious thought ng panahon na iyan. So ito ay isang reason kung bakit nagkaroon ng matinding matinding resistance with the Darwinian Revolution. Okay? So that would be another important revolution that we have to think of. At dahil sa revolution na ito, Darwinian Revolution, ay nagbago ang pananaw, nagkaroon ng pagbabago sa paggawa ng siyensya in terms of biology. So because of this, maraming mga scientists ang pinag-aralan ng proseso na ito, and there is where genetics come in, molecular biology comes in. So nagkaroon ng mas matinding pag-aaral upang ma-explain ang iba't ibang proseso ng biolohiya o biology.
So marami pang naging epekto ang Darwinism, ang teorya ng evolution, hindi lamang sa disiplina ng biolohiya, kundi ito ay malaki din ang naging impact in 19th century society. And one of the effect of Darwinism in society at that time is that people doubted the Bible and religious tenets of that time, and many moved away from their faith. Prior to Darwin and his Origin of Species, actually many people consider themselves as Christians and are a lot of scientists themselves who proclaim themselves as Christians. But with the introduction of the theory of evolution, at marami sa kanila ang lumayo sa tinuturo ng Biblia. That is one of the major impact of Darwinism that brought society from a Christian perspective. Now, many people are no longer considering themselves as Christian. Many actually have become atheist because of their doubt of the Bible and the Christian tenets brought about by the teachings of Darwinism and evolution. So as we have mentioned in the previous discussion natin na ang evolution ay may puwersa na kung saan ito ay nagdadala sa mga grupo ng mga species na magbago o magkaroon ng panibagong mga species or formation of new species, and there seems to be no need for a God in order for these changes and this new emergence of species to happen. So ito ang naging impact ng Darwinism. But in addition to that, the theory of evolution was adopted also as a foundation for various ethical and social systems such as social Darwinism. So hindi lang sa siyensya nagkaroon ng impact ang Darwinism, pero ito ay naging impact na rin sa paniniwala, sa ethics, sa value system ng 19th century society. And one of the phrases na ikinabit sa evolution at Darwinism is the survival of the fittest. And this explains, or this has been used by many advocates to justify differences in wealth and success among societies and people. So ibig sabihin yan, dahil ang mga mayayaman ang silang mas makapangyarihan, mas may kakayanan, they are more fit compared to those who are in poverty. So sinasabi nila na dahil sa teorya ng evolution, ito ay ginagamit na suporta para ipagpatuloy ang lumalaking discrepancy, the growing difference, the growing gap between the wealthy and also the poor. At shoots of social Darwinism is what we call as eugenics, and eugenics is an interpretation of evolution espoused by Francis Galton, who's actually a cousin of Charles Darwin. At ang claim po nito ay human civilization was subverting natural selection by allowing the less bright and the less wealthy to survive and outbreed the smarter and more healthy. So tinatanggal, dapat ay hindi pinapayagan na dumami ang mga less bright and less healthy. And that is why, especially later advocates of eugenics suggested radical and often coercive social measures in an attempt to correct this imbalance, to prevent the less intelligent, and kaya nagkaroon ng mga legislation na kung saan ang mga mentally retarded, ang mga physically disabled ay hindi payagang magkaanak. And those would be some of the advocacy of people who believes in eugenics in during the 19th century. In addition, social Darwinism is further linked with imperialism. So, survival of the fittest, ang imperialismo na kung saan ay ang mga makapangyarihang mga bansa ay tumungo sa iba't ibang bahagi ng mundo in order to conquer, in order to abuse, in order to invade people groups who are less able to defend themselves against the more powerful countries. So this concept of evolution justified exploitation of lesser breeds without the law by superior races. So those who are the imperialists, sila na may mga makapangyarihang army, makapangyarihang mga bansa, consider themselves as the more superior race, and by right given by nature, they are the more fit and more powerful.
We're now finished with the second intellectual revolution. So we already finished with the Copernican revolution. Right now we are finished with that.